Hey everyone, it's your favorite inactive boy, and I am finally back. So from now on, I'm going to try to go back to weekly uploads. The reason it's just been so long is I've just kind of needed a break, and I've honestly had trouble coming up with ideas recently, but I finally got one that I think is decent enough to be in an actual video. This level that you're seeing right now was in fact not made by me. This level was actually completely randomly generated by a computer program that I wrote. So, how did I make this? Well, to start off, the level was built entirely in real time, meaning that this was not made by changing the level's code. The reason I chose to not make it via the level's code was because A, I really don't want to get into that in the first place, and B, it's just so much more satisfying to watch the program build it in real time. So to do this, I wrote the program in JavaScript and used a pretty nifty library called robot.js. This library allows you to control your mouse and keyboard only using code. So we can use this to select and place the blocks and spikes, but that's nowhere near as juicy compared to how we generate the level. So how can we generate the level? Well, what I chose to do is to use chunks. If you've ever played Minecraft before, you might know what these are. Chunks are 16 blocks by 16 blocks that are generated in your Minecraft world. So in this case, chunks are an 8-block strip in the Geometry Dash level. So why am I using chunks? Chunks allow for better and smoother gameplay. If I were to generate one block at a time, something like this could happen. So how does this chunk system actually work? When the program creates a chunk, the specific objects are represented by a number. For example, blocks are represented by a 1, an empty space is represented by a 0, and an orb is represented by a 2. You might be wondering, well, where are the spikes? And don't worry, I will get to that later. So an example chunk would be 1110012. This chunk would look like this. Now, how does the program actually read these chunks to place them into the level? We can read the chunks by creating a loop, and what this loop does is it will read for each number of the chunk and will place the block accordingly. So let's use our example chunk to see how this program works. It will first read a 1, meaning that it places a block. So I create a starting position to where the program will start placing blocks. So the program will place the first block there. Then we move on to the next part of the chunk, which is also a 1. The program will take the x value of the last block of the chunk and will add 68 to it. This is the width of the little blocks in the level, but depends on your monitor's resolution. Then it will place the block on that x position. Continuing on, the program reads another one, so it adds 68 to the last x value and places a third block there. Finally, we have a 0. So all the program does is changes the x value by 68, but does not place a block. The program moves 1 with 2 more spaces, 2 more blocks, and an orb. The orb is placed 2 blocks away and 1 block up in height so that the player can jump on it. Now we need to add spikes. So how I did this is every time a block is placed, there's a 1/5 chance that a spike will be added on top of it. When the program adds a spike, it takes the current block x value and just subtracts 68 from the y value, which will place it above the block. So we just created our first chunk. You may have noticed that sometimes new chunks will have different height values. How the program works is that a new chunk's y value has a random chance to be moved 1 block up or 1 block down. But the program won't allow for the y value to be underground or too high in the level. Now, when a chunk has an orb, this formula changes. Instead, the program will change the height by 2 blocks, since an orb will bounce you up, but if the y value is too high, it will just lower the blocks instead. And when we create a new chunk, the program just scrolls the level over 9 blocks and it will proceed to start yet another chunk. So that was a brief explanation of how the program works. I hope it somewhat made sense, and I tried to make this as informative as possible. But now the program can randomly generate levels. But there seems to be one thing missing. We need to randomly generate a level name. So for this, I just made a really simple loop that combines random vowels and consonants together and make some very real looking words. Also, the program has a 1/3 chance to add like something like part 2, the sequel, number 3, etc. after the name, like every other level. Of course, this process of making this program wasn't completely a smooth road. There were plenty of bugs that took a while to fix, but in the end, it worked out. There still are a few bugs, so just to see how much I improved based from my first prototype version to how we have it now, this is the comparison. It's pretty crazy. Well, that's how I made a random level generator. It's not exactly done yet, and there are plenty of features I could add. So if you'd like to see more of this program, let me know. I could probably add gameplay for the other game modes, like the ship or something. That would be really fun in my opinion, but we shall see. If you made it all the way here, well, I'm pretty proud of you, and that means I'm doing at least one thing right when it comes to making good videos. So thanks for watching it. I appreciate it a lot, and I'll see you. I have a Discord server. You should check it out. It's pretty nice. Yeah.